Scorpio, if you are hearing this, trust that you were not dragged here by accident. Something in your spirit clicked when you saw the title. Something in your chest tightened when you felt those dates. December 10th to 12th, 2025. There is a truth rising from beneath the surface of your life, one that may sting, one that may bring tears to your eyes, but it is also the very truth that will free you from a cycle you were never meant to stay trapped in. During these days, the energy around you does not whisper. It presses, it exposes, it pulls away the veil from a situation, a person, or a part of yourself you have been trying to ignore. You may already feel it in your body, the restlessness, the strange heaviness, the sense that something is about to be revealed. Take a deep breath, Scorpio. You are not here to be broken. You are here to be honest with yourself in a way you have avoided for far too long. As we move into this powerful window, it may feel like life is speeding up while your heart wants to slow down. Conversations you've postponed may suddenly surface. Feelings you've numbed might return with sharp clarity. A mask someone has worn in front of you may begin to slip. December 10th to 12 does not create these truths. It only illuminates what has already been there, quietly shaping your decisions, your insecurities, and your hopes. This is not a punishment. This is a turning point. These days act like a mirror, and in that mirror you may finally see who has been standing with you and who has only been standing near you. You may recognize the places where you have settled, where you have abandoned your own needs to keep the peace, where you have pretended not to notice red flags because your heart was so desperate to believe in potential. The heartbreak here is not just about someone else. It is about realizing where you have betrayed your own soul by accepting less than what your spirit knew you deserved. Emotionally, this period asks you to clear a room inside your heart that has been cluttered with old grief. There is a story you have been telling yourself about why something happened the way it did, why someone left, why someone stayed but never truly showed up, why you were overlooked, underchosen, or misunderstood. On these days, that story starts to crack. You may suddenly see that the reason someone could not love you the way you needed had far more to do with their own brokenness than with your worth. You may see how long you have carried responsibility for emotions that were never meant to be yours. This realization can feel like a punch to the chest at first. It can hurt to admit how much time you've spent trying to fix what you did not damage, trying to prove what was already true about your value. Yet as that ache rises, something else rises with it. The quiet relief of finally putting down what was never yours to carry. A friend or family member who only reaches out when they need something may show up again right when your heart is tender, not to support you, but to take more. A romantic interest who keeps you guessing may do or say something that makes you realize you were never confused. You were simply hoping they were someone they refused to become. This is the heartbreaking truth. Sometimes the people we want to believe in are not ready to meet us where our soul is heading. Loving them does not obligate you to stay where you are no longer growing. At the same time, there can be another kind of heartbreak, realizing that your own fear has held you back from receiving the love, respect, or support that has been trying to reach you. You may see where you have pushed away genuine affection because you were afraid it would disappear like it did in the past. You might notice where you have tested people, withdrawn or shut down just as things began to deepen. December's energy does not shame you for this. It simply invites you to acknowledge the walls you built when you were trying to survive. Those walls kept you safe once, but now they may be quietly keeping you lonely. The truth that unfolds in these days is not only about who hurt you, it is about how you have learned to protect yourself so fiercely that your heart no longer has room to be held. Let that realization break you open, not break you apart. Financially and practically, this window brings a sobering clarity. You may be confronted with a situation around money, work, or long-term security that reveals where something is not as stable as you hoped. Maybe you notice that a job that once felt good enough now feels misaligned with the life you are trying to build. Perhaps a partnership, business arrangement, or financial habit shows its true cost, not just in currency, but in energy, sleep, and peace of mind. The heartbreak here can feel like recognizing that what you thought was safe has actually been slowly draining you. Yet woven into that discomfort is a deep empowerment. Once you see clearly, you are no longer trapped by illusion. December 10-12 may bring a conversation, an email, a number on a screen, or a moment of realization that pushes you to take your future more seriously, not from panic, but from self-respect. You are being asked to choose long-term alignment over short-term comfort. In love, this is a time when illusions dissolve. If you have been clinging to someone's potential, these days may reveal who they truly are when there is no more room for excuses. A half-present love, an on-and-off connection, or a situationship that keeps you in limbo might suddenly feel unbearable, not because anything dramatic happens, but because your soul is tired. Tired of waiting, tired of wondering, tired of shrinking yourself so you won't scare them away. There is a heartbreak in admitting they are not going to rise to meet me. But there is also immense power in that admission, because it returns your time, your energy, and your heart back to you. For those in committed relationships, this period can act as an X-ray. Hidden issues may come up in conversation. Unspoken resentments may surface. This is not to destroy what you have, but to give you a chance to rebuild on deeper honesty or to recognize that something has reached its natural conclusion. If you are single, the truth that may break your heart is this: you were never unlovable. You were simply trying to be loved by people who could not recognize or hold the depth you carry. December's energy might bring memories, old messages, or unexpected contact from someone in your past, not to pull you back, but to show you how much you have grown beyond that version of yourself. You may see how far you've come from needing validation from emotionally unavailable people, from chasing those who only gave you crumbs. The sting comes when you realize how long you settled for less. The healing comes when you know you will not do it again. During these days, love is asking you to grieve the fantasy, honor the lessons, and then open space for a connection that does not require you to bleed for it to stay. In your career and life direction, December 10-12 can highlight a truth you've been sensing but avoiding. Maybe you have outgrown a role, a routine, or an environment that once fit who you were, but no longer fits who you are becoming. You may notice how your gifts are being underused, how your ideas are dismissed, or how your efforts are taken for granted without fair recognition. The heartbreak here is realizing that loyalty to a system that doesn't see you will never turn into the appreciation you crave. Yet this realization is also a doorway. When you finally admit to yourself, "I deserve more than this," you begin to align with opportunities that match your actual value, not your fears. These days do not demand that you quit everything overnight. Instead, they invite you to tell yourself the truth about what you want, what you can no longer tolerate, and what you are willing to begin changing, one step at a time. On a physical and emotional level, your body may also speak loudly during this period. Exhaustion, sudden waves of sadness, irritability, or physical tension can rise to the surface. Your system is not betraying you. It is trying to process everything you have been holding back. Tears may come easily, sometimes without a clear reason. Let them. They are not a sign of weakness, but of release. You may feel the urge to be alone, to unplug, to sit in silence, or move gently through your day. Honor that. These days ask you to treat your nervous system as sacred ground, to rest when you are tired instead of forcing productivity, to nourish yourself instead of punishing yourself for not being stronger. The heartbreaking truth here is recognizing how often you have pushed past your limits, abandoned your own needs, or silenced your pain just to show up for others. Let this awareness guide you into a new kind of strength, the kind that includes self-compassion. Family bonds and friendships may also be under the spotlight. Old wounds can rise, a comment that still stings years later, a pattern of not being believed, supported, or emotionally protected. December 10th, 12 may bring a moment when someone close to you reveals, intentionally or unintentionally, how they truly see you. This can be painful if you feel minimized, misunderstood, or taken for granted. Yet even here, the universe is not trying to break your heart for cruelty's sake. It is trying to free you from chasing acceptance in places that cannot offer it. At the same time, you may notice who stands quietly but firmly by your side. The friend who checks on you without being asked, the relative who listens instead of judging, the soul connection who reminds you that you are not too much. The truth that unfolds in this area is about quality, not quantity. You deserve relationships that make you feel safe in your own skin, not connections that leave you doubting your worth. Spiritually, this window can feel like standing between two worlds. Part of you may still be attached to what is familiar, even if it hurts. Another part is already leaning toward something truer, softer, more aligned. Signs and synchronicities may intensify during these days, repeating numbers, dreams, songs, or symbols that mirror what you are feeling. A particular color, such as deep blue or dark crimson, might keep appearing around you, echoing the emotional depth and courage you are being asked to embody. You may sense that your intuition is louder, sharper, more insistent. It might nudge you away from certain places, people, or choices, or gently pull you towards something that doesn't yet make sense logically, but feels right in your bones. This is a time to listen closely, not to fear, but to the quiet knowing underneath the noise. As we move toward the closing of this message, let this be said softly but clearly. What is unfolding around December 10, 12, 2025 is not a curse, not a doom-filled prophecy, but a sacred reveal. This story is a symbolic reflection, a spiritual exploration of possibility, a kind of soul-level thought experiment meant to help you listen more deeply to yourself. Nothing here is a fixed sentence over your life. It is a mirror offered gently to those who feel called to look. If these words resonate, hold on to the parts that feel like truth and let them guide you toward healthier choices, deeper boundaries, and more honest love. If they do not, allow them to pass like mist over water, knowing that not every message is meant for every heart. Your future is not controlled by this reading. It is shaped moment by moment by your decisions, your courage, your willingness to heal, and your ability to ask for support when you need it. So Scorpio, as these days draw closer, or as you move through them, remember this: a heartbreaking truth does not exist to destroy you. It exists to remove what cannot walk with you into the next chapter. The tears that might fall are not proof that you are weak. They are proof that you are alive, sensitive, and still capable of feeling deeply in a world that often asks you to go numb. Let whatever needs to be revealed come to light. Let whatever needs to end with dignity. Let whatever is meant to stay prove itself through consistent action, not just words. You are not starting from emptiness after this. You are starting from wisdom, from the ashes of old illusions. A more honest, more grounded, more peaceful version of you is waiting to rise, and as you take even one small step toward that version of yourself, trust that the universe is stepping toward you too, matching your courage with quiet, unseen support every step of the way.